Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the City Council work session of Wednesday, April 24th. Call the meeting to order and ask for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
In favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this evening, we're going to have a discussion on I guess I should do public comment first. I guess. Is there anyone that in the audience that would like to make public comment? Is there anyone online that would like to make public comment? If you would raise your hand, please. Okay, thank you. So we will start with our discussions on the temporary structure for City Hall and the police station, the construction plan for Gower Street during construction, and internal finishes for City Hall and the police station. Bruce, would you like to start us off?
Yes, during construction, both City Hall and the Police Department will need to relocate to temporary facilities. Offices for both functions will be located at the east end of Second Street, just east of the recycling center. Sorry, west of the recycling center. Public Works will also have offices in the Public Works yard. Police presence at the Second Street facilities will be limited as officers will generally be on the road. Site plan for the Second Street facilities is attached and we'll be ready to discuss it today with the various options. And regardless of how the City Hall construction site is configured, it will have an impact on East Gower Street. Both CETA and Emmer Construction will present options for the site and the street configuration. CETA will also present samples and renderings showing the material finishes selections for both City Hall and the police station. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay.
Fortunate to have Leslie Jones, CETA, and Will Sound from Emmer.
Thanks for coming.
Bring in the rain.
So to start us off, we put a presentation of the temporary facilities to the design review board. This is for presentation. Within this, we do have a few options to discuss. So as Bruce said, our site is located at the end of Second Street for the temporary facilities. We've included site photographs of note here. There is some existing grass, existing trees, and large boulders, creating a buffer there between where the buildings would be placed and the street. It's a gravel lot now and would be anticipated to remain gravel. This is what's included in your packet. This is the first option of how there is a larger 36 by 60 modular to serve as the location. We were able to provide spaces here, knowing that we will be losing some in their room. The second blue 10 by 40 modular, that is auxiliary and overflow space for the City Hall. When we designed that 36 by 60, we found some services were limited. So for example, gathering spaces for HRAP and other departments were not able to be accommodated in the 36 by 60. The orange that you're seeing, that would serve as the temporary police station. So we've separated that entry and provided separate parking for the police function. This is the layout and elevations of that temporary City Hall facility. So there is a public entry, reception and public facing person, and a small conference room. And then you'll see the departments are color coded here. So orange is finance. Purple are the executive offices. We have a common print, copy, break room, plotter, common workspaces in the core there. And then the planning department and a shared office between HRAP and farmers market. And that's just a single office. We will include ADA ramps for access to the entries because the floors of these is held off the ground. For signage, what we are proposing is to relocate this existing sign to the temporary facilities. These are the two smaller 10 by 40 units. One here on the left with the police. It does include one restroom, which is off of a public entry. It's sort of, again, a public facing reception area with the orange area being secured. So one common work area for two secure workstations, and then one office that would be shared by the chief and lieutenant. What you're seeing on the right, this is a modular 10 by 40 with no alterations. This is how it comes off the shelf. This would be leased. All that said, we have a couple options for you to look at. You have Dustin line here who can chime in, but after we put this together, we looked at the 36 by 60, which was meeting the needs for City Hall and how that fit on the CBE site for the food bank to confirm that that was that made sense to go that route. There were some challenges in this. So I do have in here some options, what it looks like to move that over to a couple options for changing the temporary facility, City Hall and police, so that it better fits at the elementary school.
Yeah, on F, I'm not understanding something because it looks like the length of the building for the police department is going from north to south. And yet the mobile office elevation east and west are the short parts. What am I not getting?
It looks like you picked up on a typo.
Oh. Okay, so
I think understanding perfectly. And the short elevations for the police would be the north and south facing elevations and the longer ones from the east and west. We explored several configurations and this was one of them.
east. It's west and east, isn't it? Because the entrance is,
So for the police,
yeah, for the police.
entrances would face,
No, the police, really?
so if we go back here, the police entrances face east
Isn't,
with,
Yes. East.
oh, okay.
so we can go back even further and take a look at this.
I got it.
So west this way.
Yep. No, I get it. East. East and west.
This would be. What had been previously discussed was that in this scenario, the 36 by 60 would be the modular that would be purchased for use as the food bank. The other two would be rented or leased, just for the construction duration. And I can skip ahead, maybe show you what that looks like. And again, Dustin's online if he wants to chime in, if I anything. Dustin,
It doesn't.
Hi, all. Sorry, the audio on my end, for some reason, Leslie, I'm only hearing about every other word you say. So, Leslie, were you going to present this and have me chime in, or do you just want me to talk about it?
I can start talking and have you chime in.
All right, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. So there's three scenarios here for that. And the 60 by 36 modular building and how they lay out on the CBE site. Again, the entries are on either the east or west side as we're looking at this. So they're on the long side. This does interfere with the gravel drive. And on the north side, the gravel drive would need to be relocated or relooked at. And then on the south side, there is this grove of alders that the intent is to protect. This looks at reorienting that. Again, the entries are on the long side, so that would need to be worked through. It still conflicts with this gravel drive. The third option here that you're seeing is both maintaining that gravel drive, protecting the trees. What this impacts is the overhead canopy. So then I will skip back to some of our other options. So another option that we have would be to maintain the city hall in the same size modular. And instead of those two separate smaller units, provide services out of a 24 by 60. This would be the 24 by 60 in this case would be shared between the police and the auxiliary city hall. In this scenario, the idea would be to lease the larger facility and purchase the smaller orange 24 by 60 to better accommodate the CBE site. Another option we looked at here was to leave the police in a standalone modular and that 10 by 40 for which you have the floor plan, and purchase two 24 by 40 modulars for the city hall. That would provide a little more flexibility to the CBE site. And those we have a couple images of that too. So this is the two 24 by 40s, those two modulars placed in an L configuration to provide services for the food pantry. And this final one would be the single 24 by 60 modular configured on the CBE site. What did I miss, Dustin?
Not much at all, Leslie. I would just add this option here with the single 24-foot by 60, that's about 1,440 square feet. The existing food pantry is a little north of 1,900 square feet. So this does provide for a smaller footprint and overall volume of space than the existing food bank. The double modular configuration with two 24 by 40s, that's within 5 square feet, about a net positive of 5 square feet of the existing food bank. the real challenge with this one is these modulars aren't really designed to be attached to each other in this way. And it can be done, and it's done all the time. We see it, done for schools all the time where you're stacking modulars next to each other, opening them up one relative to the other. The roofing condition gets really interesting to detail to try to weatherize it. Same thing with the wall. It negates any warranty that you get with the modular, but it is done, and it is done often. But just something to consider if we were to go this route. And the other options, A through C, with the single 36 by 60, that's 2,160 square feet. And so that's almost a couple hundred square feet more than the existing. The problem is it's such a big footprint, and there's not a notch out in the bottom left corner where we need it to be able to avoid that stand of spruce trees. So then it begins to impact other things, whether it's the gravel road or our new canopy. But I will say, in this option here, where it impacts the canopy, that canopy is not, it's still usable. That's about 8'6" of overhang. What isn't shown in this graphic is that we would need a column at the front and at the back of that overhang. So you do lose quite a bit of functionality north to south, just because you're going to have two large timbers holding up the canopy at each of those structural bays. But as far as providing shelter for staff for the food pantry as they're serving patrons, it is still functional. And Leslie, I think that's about all I had to add to that.
Okay, thanks, Dustin.
Sure.
So before we move on to other topics, I don't know if it would be appropriate to pause for discussion or if the preference I can plow forward.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
In the illustrations, you show the elevation on the modulars as needing the stairs and ramp. If they were to be located at the CBE location, would they be at grade?
Yes, so the reason that they're elevated is because there's wheels.
Yes, I understand.
So those would be removed, and whichever one we purchase, it would be removed and placed at grade.
Thank you.
And the big one, when the 36 by 60, when you had it, last picture you showed, that does not impact either the road or trees. Is that right?
Let's see, that was
The third
this
one,
one.
last one, yeah. Mhm. It impacts the canopy, but it doesn't require the removal of any trees.
That's my understanding, and I'll let Dustin confirm.
Yeah, that is the intent. So normally the excuse me, the rule of thumb for disturbing the root zone of a tree is that the root zone, you want to give it about as much of a diameter of kind of a area of not to disturb as the diameter of the canopy of the tree. And as you can see, this one does cut into the canopy of two of those trees. But what makes me feeling better about this option in doing that is that it's holding that same corner of where the existing food bank is. We're not moving it further into that. So barring some unforeseen additional site disturbance to be able to accommodate moving that pantry into position, I don't see any issues with it located as shown with respect to needing to remove trees or affecting that gravel drive.
Because my preference would be not to disturb that grove of trees or the road. And I don't like the idea of the L because I don't like the idea of losing our warranty. I like warranties. So I think that, you know, if something went wrong, we've got to cover it ourselves. So if you have a warranty, you don't.
And if I may add too, there is another option that's not depicted here, and Jennifer, our president, had asked me to mention it. And it's that there's always the option of not extending the north courtyard canopy on this north-south trajectory in front of the food bank. So that we would just have the north-south on the opposite side up against the gym, and then the east-west portion that's along the classroom building. There's definitely some consideration there. If not done properly, you know, we have a mobile unit that we are going to try to look the part of belonging in this place by giving it new materials that match, you know, the materials of the Cannon Beach Elementary Rejuvenation Project. It is its own geometry. That's kind of what is special about this place, right? Is that the gym is its own geometry, being a Quonset hut, and the new heritage lobby is its own geometry. The classroom building is its own geometry. Now we've got this fourth kind of geometry and scale of building that we're putting in place. Jennifer's word of caution was if we run the canopy out in front of this building, it could have the effect of looking contrived. My argument to that, or you know, counter to that would be the canopy is the one unifying element we have back there to tie all these structures together. Aside from the choice of materials. And like I said, we would anticipate treating the food pantry with a similar material palette that we are for Cannon Beach Elementary. So it's a consideration to be thought about either way, I think, whether we think that this will be a contrived look by running this now narrower portion of canopy in front of a smaller scale, boxier food pantry, or if that will still have the unifying effect that we had envisioned for this place.
What makes me most uncomfortable with that larger modular is the way that it really puts that last classroom in that corner. So I guess my question is, what does the food pantry need for space? I don't know what the look of that current modular is, but is it possible that it could be more efficient in a smaller footprint? And I don't know who I'm asking, kind of glancing at Barb every now and then. She's the one that's most familiar with it.
How many square feet did you say the one on the right is, the modular?
It's 1,440.
The one on the right,
The skinnier one,
1,001, okay.
140,
And then what is the current food pantry?
1,915.
And I'll be meeting with the food pantry board to talk about that. And
But in May.
Yeah.
Meeting in here.
Because I agree with Gary that that narrow, it just looks cramped. You know, it really does. The one on the left, it looks very, it looks like you didn't have enough room. So, yeah, I'm not thrilled with that really. But I certainly don't want to lose any trees or the gravel drive.
and it may be that, well, I don't know what modules, or if it was just a single building that they moved in, that is the food pantry. And whatever it was,
It was one building,
yeah,
one big,
Yeah.
big building that housed the library and the computer lab.
right. And that became the food pantry. That was what was available. And, you know, you tend to fill the space that's available. It
Right.
may be that we can't accomplish that again. I mean, we're certainly trying with all different combinations of modules. But it may be that it might be, turn out to be something less. And then it'll be a question about, you know, there was adaptation into a larger space, maybe it's a little bit smaller space, and can that adaptation occur? Because there is.
Efficiencies in shelving and
Sure.
that kind of thing is,
Yeah, and it's a free building and,
Right.
you know, to be able to operate out of, and we're doing all that we can to make sure. that
It's not free.
operation.
It's not free.
Rebuilding.
Well, it is, I mean, it's not something that they have to struggle.
Free to them.
And stay in, it's free to them.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So those are things that, you know, we'll have to have a discussion about.
Okay, yeah, because if the second one was at all possible,
Yeah.
it looks a whole lot better. It saves the trees and it keeps the gravel drive. And I think, you know, efficiency and compactness are both really things to strive for in any building.
Right.
that'd be my preference too.
So in terms of decision-making, if you present this to, I think the food pantry's May meeting, because of Memorial Day, is going to be like the first Monday of June. Is that enough time? In terms of,
It would probably be good if we could have a discussion with, I don't know, is there a building committee or anything like that?
there's a facilities,
Rocky?
Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could start there.
We do have a board meeting this coming Monday.
We could talk just by this Monday.
Okay. Good idea. So you have contact information for
Yes,
Tina?
I'll probably ask you again, but
Yes, okay. Yeah, so we have a board meeting Monday. All right.
okay.
And the trees and the gravel road are really things we need to save, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food pantry.
Exactly.
So there are considerations being given.
And so that scenario with that smaller modular is what you're looking at now, and combining the police station and the overflow city.
Correct. So this scenario would be how that size, the 24 by 60, the smaller, more narrow one would be used in the interim.
How about cost on these things?
So
Will's been looking at that
I have it all in front
for
of me.
many hours the
We're-
last
we're-
couple of days.
I don't know if you want to pull it up. You should have the options with the alternates as well.
Stop shop.
And back to timing, the sooner the better, just based on procurement. Some of these facilities are available. We will have to go out as for an RFP. There's 3 major players in the market. And one of them has a couple of them, others have to build them. So there's the lead times associated with that. So getting this vetted out sooner.
So we definitely need to do it at the April board meeting.
So, but Bruce or what you're seeing right now is what, Bruce and Rusty asked me to put together, basically a purchase, rental, and lease to buy options. And the first being that large unit, that 36 by 60. So that's originally what we were looking at. And that's where we came up with that, call it 325, 335 number that was presented at the last city council meeting. And then you see the other options of, we just wanted the information, right? If we're gonna rent it, or what does lease to buy look like? And of course, that number goes up because there's interest and all that. Moving down to the 24 by 60, see the number starting to come down just because of the square footage reduction. And then The third option we put together, and I'll get to the alternates and scenarios that we were just discussing. Rusty, if you want to move down, are you on the 24x40?
It's right there at the top now.
So that included two 20x40s. So we were looking at reconfiguring those. So if you were just to purchase one, it would be 200 grand. And then the 590 would go down as well. But originally, when we talked earlier today, it was like, hey, we may need two of these to accommodate the square footage for the food pantry.
But it's the 24x60 that we've been talking about that would combine police department, city hall, and fit that configuration.
Correct.
With the food pantry.
So we keep scrolling down, it would be alternate one, if you can zoom in. So that's still, we'd have to rent the 36x60 for 17 months to accommodate the staff, and then we would purchase the 24x60, and that's where it brings us in around 414,000.
And has that 1,414,000, is that, has that been included in our overall budget?
So these numbers were being carried outside for the purchase. It was that 325 that,
That's what I said, that's what I remember.
Yeah. so right now, all we had in our budget was the temporary facility for police, the 10x40.
So what are we adding then?
And that's already deducted out of the, I added it in the formula, but it's already deducting out of the 36x60 rental cost. So we would be looking at, if we went this route, yeah, it's about $89,000 to go this route, on top of the 325 that we discussed last time about allocating out of the general fund. Cover it.
So having the one building for the police and the overflow, how does the police department feel about that?
This is the first I've heard of it. It would only, we just need that secure area, for the evidence and stuff, but I don't know what the overflow would be.
We talked about basically splitting the building and creating that secure area so that everything on that side is secure for police, right? And the other side would be
In the lobby area.
would be the auxiliary for city hall overflow.
So how much construction, interior construction you have to do to make these places, to make these places go?
So for the city hall, nothing. That's all done by the modular company.
Okay.
They do all the plumbing. We'll have to bring electrical in a low voltage. But the structure itself, they handle all the interior walls. But for the hardened areas, that's for the police. We would have to self-perform that on our side.
And is the cost of doing that included in this?
Correct.
Then does it have to be undone at the time that the building is turned over to the?
The plywood would, and we would just come in and do that before it left.
Okay,
We'd send a carpenter or if we have a rough carpenter sub, we just have them come and do that.
okay.
But the one that you purchase, the way the walls are built, you're able to reconfigure it with the modular system. So it can be repurposed.
I want to make sure I understand your options here. You're saying the original option, which is buying the larger. And then I don't understand the 10x40 additional.
So originally we had just the 36x60, and then on the police budget side, we were renting the 10x40. But at that time, after going through figuring things out, the staff, it was noted that we were gonna need an additional 10x40 for overflow.
Okay, so that one would be another 41,000 essentially for that configuration. Alternate one is what we're talking about right now. What we've been talking about, renting the large unit and purchasing the 24x60.
Correct.
And let's, can you do the math? Probably easier than me, what it would be to purchase the 36x60 and rent the 24x60?
Here, so
And that would be essentially the scenario of putting the larger unit on as the food pantry and the smaller joined unit for police and overflow.
it would be $466,724.
$466,000.
$1,724.
That's to rent the large and purchase the 24 and purchase, wait a minute.
Vice versa. So it would be purchasing the 36x60 and renting the 24x60.
Yeah, the 414 is the rent the larger.
Correct, Gary. That was your question, right?
Yes,
Basically, we're flipping it.
yes.
I can't see that. So is that up there, the reverse of that?
Yeah.
And what's the number on that?
414.
Hmm?
414.
414, and the number on the reverse is what again?
$466,724.
If you purchase the.
So that would be if you purchase the big, the 36x60 and then rented the 24x60.
And I don't know, I think taking the two 24x40s off the table, I think is
Mhm.
probably.
Yeah, and that was originally we were looking at it. Dustin was going through it and saying, okay, we already got an L shape or a T shaped.
One thought I had about the warranty that just popped in my head about the roof and combining them. I don't know about replacing the siding if that has warranty impacts.
I would have to check.
Because there will be some alterations to make it look
Right, then
like it belongs, and so that's.
there would be additional construction costs in the to join them and
Yeah.
deal with the roof and. Still feel like if we could make option one, alternate one work for the food pantry, that would be preferable.
Depends on, also on what the food pantry board says about space too.
And that's 414 is the figure on that.
461.
Yeah, and that's quite a difference.
Yeah.
And 414 is not that much, well, it's still a lot more, but it's not that much over the 325 that is compared to the other, which is
9,000.
way more than it.
And what was the square footage again on the 36x60?
1,300.
2,160 square feet.
More than what they've got now.
Right, yes. And that's where we were trying to look like, okay, do we, yeah, the 24x60 fits and will that be enough square footage?
In terms of restrooms. There are restrooms in those buildings, obviously.
Yeah, so the 36x60 has 2 restrooms and the 24x60 only has 1 restroom.
And ADA compliance.
They'll have the ADA aluminum ramps and you're able to configure them. They're parts and pieces, so you're able to configure them any way you would like to fit the area.
That's one thing that was changed in the original in the building we're in now is we had to have an ADA compliant
But
restroom.
there's single restrooms.
It's a single restroom and it works. Well, when the little kids come and need to, I mean, we don't let, it's not, it's used for the volunteers and emergencies for the clients.
And has the interior of the food pantry been modified a lot to accommodate?
There was some original construction work done, when we first took it over, but not much. And the big thing was they put a little kitchen in for packaging and then the bathroom. Most of the other stuff is still there, including bookshelves that were in the library that we use for storage.
Just trying to picture what it looks like, going from the shared police and overflow, what modifications would need to be made to make it more efficient for food pantry is what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Big open space.
Yes.
We largely be opening it up. Leave the restrooms in place, that sort of thing.
And take most of the walls down.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming there's no kind of kitchen,
There's a sink and a coffee bar area.
sink and a coffee. And when you're talking about kitchen, is it refrigeration for one thing?
Oh, we have lots of, but I mean, the whole back room is freezers.
But essentially you're talking about countertop
Right,
areas
the
for
kitchen needs,
preparation.
it needs a washing station, which is the sink. Yeah, and then counter space for repackaging.
Okay,
The layout, Andy. Like the 36 by 60, isn't it?
So this
Yeah, I
one
guess
is
it's a
the
little bit-
larger one.
Yeah, the coffee bar in there. It should be a sink and a counter. Look in here, I think let's see.
So what we're looking at now, this is the larger one and the configuration of the two toilet rooms. The two toilet rooms come with it.
I think in the 24 by 60, it's up against one of the exterior walls.
So if the 24 by 60 is the preference, our next step would then looking at the interior layout so that it could be shared and between the police and the city hall in a way that worked for both of them.
so you don't have that.
You don't have that yet.
And we don't know where the restaurant is located and,
I don't have that. I don't have that one. In the 10 by 40, in those that we were looking at, we had an option. They could come with a restroom or without a restroom.
Have a interior layout for the overflow,
Wall.
the police and overflow. Do you?
No, that's what we would be working on next.
I don't know if that's helpful not to have it done so that you can wrap your head around what it would take to maximize efficiency for the food bank and the smaller unit.
So what I would be working on is the temporary facility for the city hall and police, and then for the food bank, I'm assuming Dustin would spearhead that design for how it gets changed. And we can work together if there are efficiencies found in that. There we go. Anything else on that before I move on to the next topic?
Let me ask a question before, we'll be meeting with and talking to them. Sounds like the best situation for the city to provide them this space would be the 24 by 60. By 60? And talk to them about that particular option. Do you want us to come back with the reaction to that and guess in trying to keep everything moving. Second. You want us to come back for approval on the 7th?
We have to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
And our intent in terms of schedule would be to have something ready to submit to the DRB in May for a June hearing so that we can keep on track for construction start.
Okay.
So that'll work.
and again, this is, if there's an item that's on the critical path, it is definitely the structure. Because we can't vacate until those are in place. So that this is a critical decision in terms of timing. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we ready to move on?
So the next item we have is plan. So what this is once construction starts, how we lay out the site for constructability and supplies. And I will hand it over to Bill to talk about what we're looking at on the screen.
So do these go to design review also? No.
No,
Okay, that's good.
So what you're looking at is just us as a team holistically looking at the project, how we could do it efficiently, safe. Taking into consideration of the sensitivity of trade parking and parking in general within the area. Deliveries, shutting the street down periodically. So we looked at it and was like, okay, there's 25 parking spaces in here that should suffice what we're gonna need for our trade parking and how do we keep everything within the construction zone and separate that from the public from a safety standpoint. So with that, we looked at shutting Gower down and encompassing everything into the construction zone.
And we talked to the fire chief and the fire chief said that would not be a logistical problem for them at all.
They and the police would still have access to all of our gate codes to get through. The turnaround to the east would still be available on Gower, so. But essentially, with this approach, we, in lieu of periodically closing the street down, because we would have to do it for any construction deliveries, any placement of concrete, erecting the building, roofing, just to keep it safe in that area, we were like, is it possible? It's a question, it's a discussion point that we wanted to present and get your thoughts.
It's also if we keep it open for parking, that if we're doing a delivery or anything like that, people can't access their vehicles anyway.
No, I assume they're in the way.
Right, yeah, they would be.
No, I opinion is completely biased, but I don't see any other way to do this.
a couple things about this. We have left the pedestrian path on the east would be not impacted, so would remain available for the duration, and the parking on Evergreen and past would also remain available.
Well, that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do.
So then does that mean Evergreen would be open then?
Yes.
Correct.
And also there's a
Right up here.
island here, vehicles would still be able to actually make a turn there.
Oh, okay.
I think you said it, but how many parking spaces are we losing to the trade parking?
I believe it's 20 to 25. But that also keeps all the construction parking in this area, not,
Not impacting the other.
Not on Evergreen.
And what did you say about emergency access?
so both police and fire and public works will have our access code
Okay,
to both of our locks on each end.
okay, so this is construction fence, the red lines,
Yes.
and they would be able to get through there.
We've also pulled the fence back to be tight to the curb on the north side so that there would pedestrian connection all the way through Gower. That wouldn't be closed.
And we would work with Public Works with the closed ahead signs and closed for construction, just make sure everything's visible and.
And then you have modulars for the offices.
We'll have similar, they're 10 by 30, 10 by 40 construction trailers, but very similar. And keeping those, within those areas where we're not impacting outside the construction zone.
Everybody okay with that?
Our superintendent will be very happy.
What we like to do, make people happy.
What else do you have, Leslie?
Well, so now I have the fun stuff.
Good.
Oh, this wasn't fun?
It's been a blast.
Yeah, we can grab these. So two boards, one for City Hall.
Why don't we just take a second? We'll move the table up and then y'all can crowd around it if you'd like.
Turn this into an interactive meeting.
However you guys want to do it. Fine.
Still pick up the mics, but if we put the
Bring table forward.
forward, and you can, but it'll be picked up.
We'll improvise.
You're doing a good job.
Can we just look at them from here?
And
Mind if I just move this and then?
Well, I don't know.
Yes, I'm very fond of it, I can.
So also on Bree, she's a member of our interiors team and did the selection on these. So again, Bree, if I misspeak here, I'm in and correct me. What we did is we did 3 sets of images for each building and brought them in to present to the stakeholders. So we'll do City Hall first. So this was shown to all the department heads, these three options.
Is our audience able to see it?
Oh, and do you want me to flip through these? Leslie, I can run this for you.
Oh, sure. So right now it's perfect where it is.
Okay.
Our intent with picking three was to ask the department heads to narrow it down to two preferred schemes. Everyone was incredibly helpful and decisive, knew what they wanted. And this was the scheme that was selected. And so the unfortunate thing is we didn't bring you two, we're bringing you what they chose. And what you see on the screen is the location of all of these materials. So this is also in your packet, and each of these labels on here. So for example, LVT one corresponds to the finished items, with the pattern that corresponds to the pattern on the plan. So for example, for the city hall, this piece here, LVT one, this will be for the lobby floor. Carpet two.
Can I interrupt you just a minute? I don't have everything that everybody else has. I have this, but I don't.
Hard to read too, but
It's in a bin up inside for you guys to pick up if you wanted it. So here's an extra copy.
Okay, yeah, if you give me an extra copy, that'd be great.
I do.
Where's the,
Thank you, ma'am.
where did you say the carpet was?
So this carpet two, this pattern is for the council chamber. On here, this would be for the offices and for the areas. Both of these would be carpet tiles, not broadloom, so that they're easier to maintain and replace. The third carpet here, carpet three. This one is the walk-off carpet, so this one is at entries and vestibules and bathroom. It's designed to get people's shoes and boots to maintain the rest of the finishes better. There's two sheet vinyl products here. They're a mix of storage rooms, and we've also included some of that in the HRAP areas.
Mhm.
There's also some additional LVT, which is a product that is similar to this, but with only one of these patterns. That would be in the break room and conference rooms. Let's see, this tile, this is wainscot for the toilet rooms. So just the bottom portion of those walls. A static dissipative tile for the IT room. This is the wall base. So the 4-inch rubber base. These two things are the built-in casework. So the cabinet faces and the laminate countertops. And these two are paint colors. So the more white color is the primary base color, with this as an accent color.
Throughout?
What we discussed for the accent color, and you can see it in the renderings, there's some in the bottom. And then I talked about each office having a choice of one wall. I think. And I guess we can bring up the renderings.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is that green, that accent color?
So that looks very, very green
Or
on
is
this
that actually
screen.
that blue?
Actually, this blue.
Okay.
I like that.
So then the carpet you're seeing in the council chamber is what this would look like
Can you tell me why you want carpet?
in the council chamber. Um,
Yeah, And people come in with muddy feet and I'm just curious.
Largely, it's an acoustic consideration.
Oh, okay.
Because we have hard seal, we're open to structure, it's a large space and this provides some sound
This
absorption.
carpet is just filthy, in my opinion. It's dirty.
Oh,
It's filthy, you know, I mean, it's really hard to keep it clean. You can't
Mhm.
polish it and wax it and clean it, you know, so.
Hopefully with the entry carpet or tile or whatever, before people get into the room, it'll help some.
Yeah,
Don't have any of that here.
We do advocate for quite a bit of the walk-off carpet, so the intent here would to be to get not just 1 or 2 footfalls on this. Like 6 or 7.
and this is a weird question maybe, and I think I understand the answer is going to be maintenance. But it seems this is, you know, this building is many, many dollars per square foot. And yet everything in it's plastic. I'm just curious why there's no there's no wood. There's just a little bit of tile. It's just, so I just like to know why.
I will try to answer your question and then I'll turn it over to Bree for some more information. When my impression is when we balance durability with cost, these are the materials that perform best. So most bang for your bucks in terms of durability, maintenance, and cost. I don't know if Bree, you have more you want to add to that?
Leslie, I think you hit the main points. It is mostly cost and the durability. So things like these they come in sheet products. And so if something does get damaged, similar to like the carpet tiles, it's easy enough to take a section of it and it's all you know, it's not going to say 5 years from now. Natural wood does, you know, kind of color over time and has that natural element. Whereas these laminate products, it maintains the same finish. So if you were to damage one section and replace it, it wouldn't look like you patched it. So it is a durable material, and you think of longevity, and the budget is right where we kind of want it to be.
Okay, I guess I just thought, because it seemed like this building is a lot of money per square foot, and I guess, you know, I guess it's an aesthetic and just because it's mine doesn't mean it should be other people's. It's just that I like when things get a patina on them. I find that pleasant, not something to avoid. So everything looks always the same. But that, you know, that's me, and that's maybe not everybody else. So
One thing not represented here is the ceiling.
Yeah, the wood.
Council chamber, so we've left that entirely open to structure. Those are the beams, the rafters, and then what you see in between those is wood.
hey, okay.
I will comment on this particular image that we're looking at the council chamber. What is currently happening is we're working with HVAC and the other trades and coordinating things. So what you don't see here, there will be some exposed ductwork,
Somewhat.
exposed ducts.
Oh, I
for
think that's great. It's just that, yeah, you know, I mean, plastics products have lots of off-gassing. I mean, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I just.
We do have requirements to have that they have low VOCs. So there's consideration for the off-gassing that is better than it used to be.
Yeah.
And that's laminate flooring, and it's a tile,
Yes, these are planks.
planks.
Yes. Bree, do you know the LVT1, the plank size in the city hall lobby?
Yeah, so it is 7 inches wide, and then it'll be 48 inches long. So it'll be,
This is the width of it, and then it's just 4 feet long.
I do like those big round light fixtures. Are you gonna have those?
That is.
I think they look pretty
Yeah, so
cool.
that is another item we're looking at options so that those can help with acoustics also, because those kind of light fixtures come with various materials to make the drum, and some of them have sound absorption always. Any other questions on the city hall?
And there's none of that blue in the council chambers, I notice.
No, the council chambers, we left the walls white. There had been discussion of having that be a canvas for local art. So we.
Oh, okay.
we kept that,
That would be great.
as pure as possible.
Okay.
I'd also recommend that we put it the professional, kind of like a gallery so that you can hang, have the flexibility. And then just have different groups come in and do it for 3 months or something.
Yeah, that'd be great. Set. The plastic. And I understand, I'm not the one, I'm not gonna be cleaning it and maintaining it, so I get that, I just,
And I don't disagree. Natural materials are always the most beautiful.
yeah.
Anything else before we move on to police,
To what?
to the police station materials? Um. In advance for that floor plan. You can scroll in on the plan, I think.
That work right
Yep.
Okay.
that works. So, the police, it's put together in a similar way. The Finnish legend will have correspond to the labels on this board. This is a similar. It's the first thing when you come in the door. Alteration with the police station are areas of concrete as well. So in the back, in the mudroom, we left that concrete. And then when you come through that door, then you step on the walk-off carpet before you get to the rest of these floor finishes. Luxury vinyl tile plank. This one again, it's in the lobby, in the small interview that in break room or EOC. The carpet one is in the work areas, the squad room and offices. The sheet vinyl product here, this is in the storage rooms. The exception to that is the storage rooms with high density file storage with tracks in the floor. Those will remain concrete finish to accommodate those tracks. The static dissipative tile for the IT room. The floor base or the wall base. These are the selections for the casework. So this is the face of the cabinetry. This is the top counter. And in this case, there's 3 paint colors, primary colors, and 2 options. The accent color.
And the police department
Yeah.
looked pleasing.
The police.
That's-
Oh, man.
Yes, no, they all.
They made their decisions very quick.
That true, Joe? Okay.
You may go to the rendering.
Sure. I guess the other place, the sheet vinyl is in this that I didn't mention is in the toilet rooms.
Oh.
So a couple renderings we have of this, one on the left, this is. Of course, so this has. In the squad room, also, we have a similar ceiling, so we're leaving those beams exposed with the wood decking exposed between them. In the EOC, which is the break room and meeting room, that's an area where you can see the LVT on the floor and the casework laminates. So in this case, the end wall is an accent color. And that is what we have. So unless there's questions.
Is this all a done deal? Pretty much like the carpeting for the council chambers?
This is what was selected by staff and his recommendation to you. You are the final deciders.
We don't see anything else, so how can we,
So
if that's the only, I mean, we're seeing it as one choice, this is it.
on the carpet, again, there's lots of other choices. We could bring in some other options, of course. On this carpet selection, we brought in 3 different patterns, different colors. What happened was staff preferred a particular pattern that we had brought in a lighter version. It was a more cream carpet. There was some strong opinions that it should be darker shades to hide dirt. And so this was selected in response to that. So they picked a color from one of our samples, a pattern from another sample. And what you're seeing here is
And the colors were basically gray, cream, and
do you recall what the 3 were? The 3 color schemes?
Yeah, it was so a warmer color scheme that had a lot of whites and creams, and then the gray that had kind of a darker look to it. And then we kind of had one that was in the middle, but they all kind of lean more towards being warm and inviting and a little more airy, because that was a big comment from both police station and city hall, is that we kind of want to brighten the space a little bit up, especially when compared to what they're used to right now.
yeah, I just find that one, the one for the council, I mean, this is again, just my opinion, I think it's grim.
Grim?
Grim.
Grim.
Maybe more earthy tone or? Warm.
Yeah.
Back maybe to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the representation on the screens is a little less predictable. I would say it looks a little more tan on the screen than the sample.
Well, that's black and gray and 2 shades of gray and black, and that's completely in the brown family. Totally different. Yeah. It's cold. It's not, let's all be one big happy family. Looks institutional to me.
I guess the other comment, it doesn't change any of that. There was coordination between the colors in the fields carpet and the colors in the council carpet, so that overall as the building, some of these darker threads in here, the medium threads correspond.
Right, but they're
Some
in
of the
different
stuff,
rooms. Yeah,
They are in different rooms.
right. If there was all one big open space, I would say yes, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Of course, like, look at how I dress, so that would be some. I like color, but you know, I just think it looks grim.
Well, we do a lot of grim business around here.
But I think we should be encouraging a non-grim demeanor. From our-
Smiley faces.
Yeah, well, not smart, that would be hideous, but.
So paint colors too, we brought in 3 different sets. We had lots of sets, and the staff none of them quite resonated, so we brought out the whole book of paint swatches, and this was the selective.
I like the blue a lot. That,
Everyone liked the blue.
I like the bathroom tile, and I like that cream color beneath the blue. And I even like the color of that wipe your feet carpet.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's warm. It's gray, but it's warm.
And where is the carpet two sample? Is it only the council chambers?
This is only the council chambers. Mhm. And what I was gonna note
Would
on
it just be the same throughout? Is that? I mean,
this
I
one,
don't necessarily
I like-
share Lisa's,
I actually like that one better than, yeah, I like that one better than I like that gray.
a little bit Jackson Pollock going on there.
It's just, it just is warmer. It looks more, organic, I guess. Because that is supposed to look organic, but it doesn't pull it off.
I don't know that adds anything. Again, I don't have as big of a negative thing as Lisa's saying, but I don't know that it adds anything to have the secondary carpet.
Well, it's kind of a toss up for me, but I do like the carpet closest to me. That one,
this one.
probably a little better than I do the other. I'm not sure I'd call the other grim, but and we don't, it's gonna look different when we have a lot of it.
Grimmer.
Yes, one option is that we could bring in the samples and council could make the decision.
I mean,
For the
we have to talk about it on the 7th anyway, right? Something, we have to talk about we have to talk about the temporary facility on the 7th, so is it possible by this? So I don't want to hold things up, but we'd love to at least see something else.
Yeah, I think on this we have some. This isn't critical path.
Okay, good.
I don't necessarily want to play that much interior designer. I would,
I don't have absolutely.
I'm not qualified.
Well, I have a tremendous interest in it.
The carpet to have a functionality, it needs to be durable and no part of that.
There's tons of functional and durable carpets.
but it seems like an easy change just to go with the one-style carpet.
Yeah, that's true.
And that satisfies a little bit of Lisa's
A little
design.
bit. Yeah.
HGTV.
What's that mean? What's HGTV?
HGTV, Holland Garden Television, sorry, we don't need to
I've never
go there.
watched it.
We're living.
No,
And we're not gonna watch.
So Brandon doesn't care.
I care a lot.
Lisa would be better with that. I would be better with that. Nancy would be better with that.
Better
With what?
what, having all the same.
Yeah. Again, I don't know.
I think Lisa would like to see 2 more.
Yeah, I'd love to
Samples.
see a couple more samples. Just so that we make sure that we pick, I just want to
Just for
see
the
them.
council chambers.
Yeah,
But I think it's important that the staff selects their,
Yeah,
And I would also defer to them
yeah,
on it.
but the
so
council
they're gonna be with
chambers,
it.
I think about psychology of colors also. I mean, I do. I think about that a lot. Because that's part of what I do to make money, earn a living. And so I think about that a lot and I'd love to see some more.
So what we can do is we can bring a couple more samples,
Mhm.
and we can bring images of what those samples look like in the field,
That would-
because it changes pretty significantly.
Okay, great.
That's for the 7th.
Hmm?
For the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do love the blue and I like that sort of muted aqua for the bench.
Okay.
Nice.
Do we have a meeting on the 30th?
We do have a meeting next week with the elementary school.
What about,
Right.
bringing the samples at that meeting?
That would make more sense.
We've got a big schedule on the 7th.
Yeah, is that possible?
For that, again, I'll defer to Bree, depending on what we found in the office, we need some other examples, and there's some time frame there. What do you think, Bree? Could we get a couple more selected and here by the 30th?
And presented by the 30th. Yeah, I think that would be, we do have a couple just off the top of my head that I know we have in the office already, which would be easy enough. But a lot of our reps are really great at getting some samples over kind of the next day or within 2 days. So as long as I do my homework and get that in by Friday, we should be able to get that turned around for you guys.
Oh, that'd be great.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, Bree.
Yeah, of course.
Anything on the police station?
I just feel like the police people like what they have, then they like it. And that's it.
A lot of it's really determined.
They love it.
During stuff.
They love it.
They wanted colors. And they're both nice.
Good job.
It was all them.
Jason didn't even show up for that one. That's why I went so quick.
I sat actually up in your seat when I had to make the decisions.
Oh, I love to see a fly on the wall for those.
This is really wood, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, anything else? For tonight? Yes,
I
Ken?
just had a quick question. Speaking of this beautiful wood here, what are we going to do with things in this old building that could be salvaged? Is that possible to salvage some of the wood?
There's this. I'm trying to think, Jan, what other wood are you?
I'm just thinking throughout, there's wood. I mean, a lot of this was made, when we used real wood. And so
Mhm.
I'm just trying to think. I know the house near me, they just trashed everything and didn't save anything. And the whole neighborhood was pretty upset about that. And I'm just wondering, are we thinking about trying to save anything in here? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Does anybody care? I just think it would be,
It's something I hadn't thought about.
I feel bad about all this plastic like Lisa does. It wasn't what I envisioned. I know it's money. I just didn't seem like Cannon Beach wave to me personally, but I get it that people are also complaining about price. But to me, I would like to be able to walk our talk, which we think of ourselves as being environmentally friendly, this community. And so if we could do something,
Bill,
saving the wood, I don't know.
you have any thoughts on if there's anything here to salvage, or what does that mean for cost, or what are the?
I would need to go through and just do a survey. There's always an opportunity. Buildings I've done in the past, we've salvaged the brick because it was an old school. It meant something to the community, and we would have an opportunity for them to come in, grab a brick. So I would just need to walk and survey the building and see if there's an opportunity for salvage, but we are dealing with some hazardous material within the building as it relates to lead and so forth. So we got to be careful with that as well.
Right, and the configuration of the council chambers doesn't really permit lifting this up and replace it. It's a whole different configuration for the council table.
But yeah, what do you do with it if you save it? Then there's the whole question of, okay,
People could use it. People in the community, this wouldn't be anything hazardous in my understanding, and just an
A
idea.
great kitchen counter.
For repurpose.
Yeah,
Jan, before the 30th, we'll do a walkthrough and see if there's anything that's might be worth saving.
in any place we could use wood in the new buildings rather than the plastic, if there was any kind of opportunity to substitute real wood, I mean, that to me would mean a lot, but I know, again, it's cost.
And it's-
helpful to be using all this plastic.
The exterior is going to have shingles, cedar shingles, I believe. So that makes me feel a lot better.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
So in terms of the bones of the building too, this will be a wood building.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
wood studs, wood plywood, wood siding, it is substantially a wood building.
It's just like cupboards and things, I just assumed they would be real wood. But I don't know much about the money thing, so
It's expensive.
it's just kind of surprising.
Well, there are also, in terms of salvaging anything here, there are also stores, at least in Portland, I don't know if there are any here on the North Coast, that take like doors and windows and things that,
Mhm.
people,
Yeah, the one on Burnside.
yeah, there's one
Yeah.
inside, there's one in
They're off of 80.
Portland.
Hippopotamus, hippo.
Yeah.
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 There's one in northeast Portland.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do that, but that's some possibility that you can salvage some of these smaller, these doors and windows and so forth, bring over there. But again, there's a cost to it.
That's, yeah, when the subcontractor looks at it from an efficiency standpoint, they're wanting to go through and. But we could definitely have that conversation and see if there's some salvage opportunities. Yeah, I'm all about repurposing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But yeah. Look at things.
Just since it hasn't been decided yet, what's the thinking currently on, where the council will actually meet during the construction?
We're not meeting for the next,
All your decision.
I second
Well,
that.
we zoomed
Shame.
home for a year.
Chamber, will we, the chamber maybe, or what?
But we have price of $300 per meeting
good Lord.
at the chamber. That's their,
Kidding.
no, it's their member rate. And
That's the member rate?
anyway, we're still in negotiations.
Would think
There are things that
so.
we can bring to them that they don't have.
Like maybe our contract.
Yeah,
Hadn't thought of that one.
I think it should be free,
Yeah, I do too.
except just cleaning fee. You know, that's it.
And we could pay the cleaning fee. But we're also talking
You
about,
have a schedule.
Right, we would have to make sure we didn't interfere with it.
I know, but it's not just us. There's a lot of meetings.
it's probably it's probably 6 meetings a month is probably what our average is. Because you got
Just
planning.
for the council.
All over.
Oh, yeah.
Once one's are construction and once we decide on the carpet, I think we'll be. We've got DRB planning,
Parks,
two for us, pardon?
parks and public works.
Right?
Farmers market.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about the pay meetings.
Well, and then also, we don't meet just twice a month. We meet.
Yeah.
6 to 8
Yeah.
times a month.
Yeah, and I understand.
What about, I guess that's too small. I was thinking Tolovana is not used in the evening very much, very rarely, actually. And I wondered if it'd even be a possibility to use that for some meetings, smaller ones.
That's possible, and that'd probably be really good for the committee meetings, but
Right.
what we've created is an expectation that every meeting is recorded and you're able to zoom in live, those kind of things. So we thought if we set up the chamber at the chamber, that we could go ahead and improve their system and be able to go ahead and continue that. We've also talked to over here, the gardens,
Haystack Garden.
Haystack Gardens.
How much is that a
No,
meeting?
we've not met yet, but we're gonna be setting up a meeting with them. And then trying to determine how that would work. But I think one part of the availability of space for us is how important is it to be able to continue to have live coverage on meetings and recorded meetings.
Yeah. I think it's pretty important for the council. But I don't know. Yeah, well, maybe, maybe the Christian Conference Center would love to donate some space to us, maybe.
Hmm.
Because they do have space.
Hmm.
And it's not always used, so maybe they would be willing to say, hey, come on down.
I'm trying to figure out if the library would have enough space. I'm sure it would, because it has a recording system. We have a recording
They
system.
do, you have to move all the shelves and everything to get any chairs in there.
Well, if we use the children's library, but there, that seats about 30, but I think it's still a little small. But that does have recording and we don't do that much at night there.
It would depend on. the-
Use that.
Yeah,
Friends of Haystack Rock used to use that for our library lectures.
that's when we did,
Yeah,
but a lot of our stuff is done in the children's room.
We're still working on all that.
we're not even considering paying $300 a meeting, are we?
So that's as far as we got when they gave us the schedule. And we said we would get back to them. But I will pass on your sentiments.
Okay. Free.
Hmm?
Free.
I heard you.
Okay, so good of the order? Was that good of the order? Your
I don't know.
meeting? Okay, well, let's start good of the order now. Anybody have anything for good of the order?
We did get a letter at about 4 from a member of the budget committee.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Talking about the permitting of the construction projects that, you know, totals $500,000-600,000. And the concern, especially with it going to the building official fund. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yes.
Did you have any thoughts about that?
Initially is that we should continue to collect whatever the fees are that everyone else is paying. I don't know about changing the fees kind of midstream, but there was one thing that I was intrigued by was the idea that is it possible to somehow put that transfer over to
Affordable housing.
housing of some kind. But the state is very protective of the building official funds. They don't want that to become a general fund supplement.
What is the building official fund exactly? What's it for?
It's for any costs associated with the activities of the building official. So plan review, inspections, training, anything like that. The funds that are paid stay in that. And right now, we do have a balance. I think it was like $400,000 or something. But we had a couple of big years and that's how we got there.
Okay.
Yeah, fund balance 487,000, and this would add significantly to it. And then we don't have any say over the building official fund. Is that correct?
You approve it through budget.
Yeah, and the budget process, for example, if they're gonna get a car, that we can fund it through the building official fund. We could also pay for it out of general fund if we wanted to, but we don't.
Could you ask Ashley if there's any possibility of that idea of transferring it to the affordable housing fund? Just to see if it's a possibility, because maybe if we have a certain balance in our building official fund, maybe that would give us an ability to use over the certain balance for something else.
Okay,
Part of the reason that Bruce alluded to the state being so protective of it is that they get a portion.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Do they? That figures.
that's part of the permitting.
Mhm.
So they're making they're doing well off us on the permitting fees for these big construction
What
projects.
percentage? Do you know what percentage they get? Huh, What?
They get 12% of every permit.
And then they also get a portion of the,
Affordable housing.
yes, thank you, Jen.
So
I mean, they get it used
$67,000.
to award to different communities for affordable housing or?
I can't say. They do get. a
Sure love
percentage
to
of
know.
It's on, I think we have it listed on the monthly status report. What their percentage.
Would you like us, I guess I'm asking Leslie at the same time I'm asking you, is it okay if we keep these boards until the 30th?
Absolutely.
All right, great.
While you're looking that up, I have one good of the order item. I'd like to thank the Parks Committee for their 12 days birthday work. It was a successful event and all the city staff that helped with all of the events. Thanks.
Good, thank you. We'll pass that on.
So of that fund, when we charge 1% of the value of the permit, and that 1% gets split up in 3 different directions. The city maintains 4% as administrative fee. After we deduct that, 15% is distributed to the Housing and Community Services Department to fund home ownership programs that provide down payment assistance, and that portion is paid directly to the state. And then 50% is to what is funded, we get a fund developer incentives allowed. And we split it up between 35% for programs and initiatives and 85% goes to the city's affordable housing. So there's like a split within that, but the state gets the 15%.
It's for a good thing that they get it, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I attended the community meeting for the
Oh, good.
the chamber.
Yeah.
And I thought it went rather well. There was a good participation. I thought it was quite full. I didn't go the following morning. They had one for the next day, but as a surprise to nobody, parking and housing is the biggest.
And Bruce and Nancy and Lisa and I were at the municipal part of that.
Good.
Yeah, that guy, David,
Yeah.
is fantastic at facilitating a meeting and getting people to talk. And he's just got a real gift for it, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he asks interesting questions. I mean, it was really interesting. I
Okay,
don't know what'll come of it, but it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Anything else?